Have you ever experienced the sensation that the world around you is evolving at an overwhelming pace, leaving you grappling to keep up with all the changes? Perhaps it's the swift advancement of artificial intelligence that seems to outstrip our ability to adapt. The ever-present uncertainty surrounding climate change that weighs heavily on our minds, or the manner in which social media platforms appear to amplify every fear and concern we possess. If you have felt this way at any point, rest assured that you are not alone in this sentiment. This widespread feeling of unease and disquiet has been given a name: cultural anxiety.
Welcome to the Psychology of Us, where we explore the fascinating ways our minds shape our lives, relationships, and the world around us. I'm Professor RJ Starr, your guide on this journey into the heart of human behavior. Whether you're a psychology student, enthusiast, or simply someone curious about why we think, feel, and act the way we do, this podcast is for you. Each episode will dive into topics that touch our everyday lives, unpacking theories, exploring intriguing questions, and offering insights that help us better understand ourselves and one another. Throughout our time together, I'll also invite your thoughts, questions, and topic suggestions. You can email me at profrjstarr, and that's star with 2 R's, at outlook.com, profrjstarr@outlook.com. Your feedback will shape future episodes and help ensure this podcast feels like a conversation between us. So, let's begin this journey together. Get comfortable, stay curious, and let's discover the psychology of us.
Cultural anxiety isn't merely a reflection of personal stress or individual worry. It represents a collective psychological response to significant societal changes or perceived threats to cultural identity. It embodies the tension that accumulates when the familiar begins to give way to the unknown, when cherished traditions feel at risk, or when the relentless pace of modern life becomes overwhelming and disorienting. This shared phenomenon not only affects individuals, but also provides fertile ground for deeper psychological inquiry, intersecting with established theories of identity, collective trauma, and societal adaptation in complex and meaningful ways. Understanding cultural anxiety can reveal insights into how communities navigate change and how they strive to maintain their sense of self amidst evolving landscapes. In this in-depth exploration, we delve into the complex roots of cultural anxiety, tracing its historical antecedents and thoroughly examining its diverse manifestations in modern times. By thoughtfully connecting historical patterns to contemporary psychological theories, we aim to illuminate how cultural anxiety profoundly shapes both societies and individuals. In doing so, we discover valuable pathways to resilience, empowering us to effectively navigate the collective challenges that characterize our time and foster a deeper understanding of the human experience in the face of adversity. The Industrial Revolution offers one of the earliest examples of cultural anxiety on a mass scale. For centuries, life had revolved around agrarian communities, with traditions and routines passed down through generations. The rise of factories and urbanization disrupted this way of life, pulling people from their fields into crowded, unfamiliar cities. This shift wasn't merely physical, it was cultural. Many feared the erosion of close-knit communities and traditional values. The rhythm of life, once dictated by the seasons, was now governed by the relentless pace of industry. The anxiety of that era echoed in movements like the Luddites, who destroyed machinery in protest, and the nostalgic art and literature of the Romantic period, which sought to preserve the beauty and simplicity of rural life. From a psychological perspective, this period aligns with Erik Erikson's stages of psychosocial development, particularly the tension between identity and role confusion. The displacement caused by industrialization disrupted individual and collective identities, forcing societies to redefine their roles in a rapidly changing world. The anxiety surrounding industrialization is powerfully mirrored in the writings of influential figures like Karl Marx, who keenly highlighted the profound alienation of labor experienced by workers. As industrialization progressed, laborers found themselves increasingly disconnected from the fruits of their efforts, leading to a pervasive sense of disconnection from both their work and the communities they belong to. This deep-rooted alienation not only affected individuals, but also fueled widespread movements, advocating for workers' rights and a comprehensive reimagining of societal structures. These movements underscored the significant and enduring psychological impact of such rapid and transformative change on the fabric of society. Fast forward to the Cold War era, and cultural anxiety took on a new form. The threat of nuclear war loomed over daily life, embedding fear into the collective consciousness. Schools introduced duck and cover drills, and dystopian films like Dr. Strangelove captured societal fears. These cultural artifacts were more than entertainment. They reflected and reinforced the era's pervasive anxiety. During this critical period, theories such as Maslow's hierarchy of needs offer valuable insights into human behavior and motivation. The constant and pervasive threat of nuclear annihilation severely disrupted the fundamental need for safety and security, leaving individuals and entire societies in a state of chronic and overwhelming stress. Additionally, Hans Selye's extensive work on stress further illuminates how prolonged exposure to pervasive fear, even when experienced at a societal level, can lead to significant long-term psychological and physiological consequences that affect overall well-being. Moreover, the collective trauma stemming from the Cold War era introduced what the sociologist Kai Erikson refers to as historical trauma, which represents a specific type of persistent psychological impact that significantly shapes entire generations. The various drills, pervasive propaganda, and cultural narratives that characterized this tumultuous period collectively created a shared reality infused with fear and suspicion. This environment contributed to an atmosphere of heightened mistrust, not only towards foreign entities, but also towards domestic institutions, as individuals grappled with the pervasive sense of insecurity that marked this era. Today, cultural anxiety manifests through a multitude of avenues. The rapid advancement of technology, the pressing issues surrounding climate change, the effects of globalization, and the pervasive sense of economic uncertainty. Each of these factors presents unique and significant challenges while simultaneously echoing and reflecting historical patterns that have shaped societies over time. The rapid rise of artificial intelligence and automation stirs deep fears reminiscent of the profound changes experienced during the Industrial Revolution. Workers across various sectors are increasingly worried about potential job displacement as advancements in technology seem to threaten their livelihoods. Furthermore, the constant influx of new technologies leaves many feeling unprepared and anxious about their future prospects. Social media further exacerbates these fears, amplifying misinformation and creating a pervasive culture of comparison among users. According to social comparison theory, individuals often gauge their self-worth by measuring themselves against the achievements and lifestyles of others. In today's digital age, this process frequently leads to heightened feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and isolation, impacting mental health and overall well-being. Furthermore, the cognitive appraisal model developed by Lazarus and Folkman provides valuable insights into how individuals interpret and respond to these technological changes. Many people tend to perceive new technologies primarily as threats, rather than as potential opportunities for growth and improvement, which ultimately triggers various stress responses. The role of social media in amplifying and spreading misinformation significantly compounds this stress, further feeding into cycles of mistrust, anxiety, and fear within society as a whole. Consider the phenomenon of doom scrolling, where individuals compulsively consume negative news. This behavior is not just a habit, but a psychological response to uncertainty and fear. Research shows that exposure to a constant stream of alarming information can heighten feelings of helplessness, reinforcing the cycle of anxiety. Climate anxiety, a collective psychological response to environmental degradation, reflects the existential dread once associated with nuclear war. Terms like eco-grief capture the profound sadness and helplessness felt by individuals and communities witnessing the planet's decline. This phenomenon aligns with theories of collective trauma, as explored by sociologist Kai Erikson, who noted how shared experiences of disaster reshape collective identities. In a small coastal community, the rising sea levels may symbolize far more than merely water encroaching upon the land. They represent profound loss, significant change, and deep-seated uncertainty. Such examples powerfully illustrate how external disruptions to the environment evoke intense internal questions about identity, belonging, and resilience, prompting residents to reflect on their place in a world that is rapidly transforming around them. Moreover, climate anxiety often manifests through physical symptoms. Researchers have noted increases in sleep disturbances, chronic stress, and even cardiovascular issues among those deeply affected by environmental concerns. These physiological impacts underscore the profound connection between the mind and body in responding to existential threats. Globalization introduces another layer of complexity. While it fosters innovation and connection, it also stirs fears about the erosion of traditional identities. Immigration debates often center on concerns about cultural preservation, highlighting anxieties around the blending of traditions. Cultural appropriation and language loss further underscore these tensions. Erickson's concept of identity versus role confusion is particularly relevant in this context. As various cultures blend and interact, individuals and communities often face significant challenges in maintaining their distinct sense of self. This struggle can result in defensive behaviors, such as polarization or xenophobia, as people react to perceived threats to their identities. By understanding these reactions through the lens of social identity theory, we can gain insights into how individuals align themselves with specific groups. This alignment serves as a crucial mechanism for preserving a sense of stability, security, and belonging in an increasingly complex social landscape. The anxiety tied to globalization also intersects with economic concerns. As jobs move across borders and supply chains become increasingly interconnected, individuals in certain regions experience feelings of economic instability. This dynamic feeds into narratives of us versus them, deepening divides between communities. Cultural anxiety operates through a complex interplay of cognitive and emotional mechanisms that significantly influence both individual and collective behavior patterns. The cognitive appraisal model provides valuable insights into how individuals interpret and respond to societal changes. This model suggests that when individuals perceive these changes primarily as threats rather than as potential opportunities for growth or development, it triggers a range of stress responses. These responses, rooted in our evolutionary psychology, manifest as fight, flight, or freeze behaviors. These physiological reactions, designed for survival, can inadvertently amplify feelings of helplessness or aggression in modern contexts, as they are often directed at abstract societal challenges rather than immediate tangible dangers. Emotionally, cultural anxiety frequently manifests itself in the forms of fear, grief, or anger. Fear arises from the uncertainty and unpredictability of change, while grief often reflects a mourning for perceived losses of tradition, community, or stability. Anger, in turn, is frequently a response to perceived threats against cultural identity or personal values. These complex emotions propel individuals toward behaviors aimed at preserving both cultural and personal stability. Such behaviors might include resistance to change, an attachment to nostalgic ideals, or a tendency to retreat into rigid and inflexible identities. This retreat into inflexibility fosters an entrenched us versus them mentality, exacerbating societal divisions and creating echo chambers where differing perspectives are not just ignored, but actively opposed. This environment erodes the possibility of dialogue and collaboration, deepening the challenges posed by cultural anxiety. The long-term effects of cultural anxiety on mental health are profound. Hans Selye's general adaptation syndrome outlines the physiological toll of prolonged stress, which progresses through stages of alarm, resistance, and eventually exhaustion. Chronic cultural anxiety can leave individuals in a constant state of resistance, where they expend significant mental and emotional resources to cope with societal shifts. Over time, this state of prolonged stress increases vulnerability to anxiety disorders, depression, and other mental health challenges. Physiological symptoms, such as sleep disturbances, cardiovascular strain, and weakened immune responses often accompany these mental health impacts, highlighting the interconnectedness of mind and body in responding to stress. On a societal level, cultural anxiety contributes to widespread mistrust in institutions. Governments, media organizations, and other societal pillars are often perceived as failing to address the concerns that fuel anxiety. This erosion of trust paves the way for the rise of populist movements, which frequently promise to restore a sense of stability and control. However, these movements often exploit cultural fears, rather than addressing their root causes, perpetuating cycles of division and unrest. The impact of cultural anxiety also extends into generational dynamics, creating tensions that further complicate collective responses to societal challenges. Younger generations, who are more immersed in technology, globalization, and evolving cultural norms, often find themselves at odds with older generations that prioritize traditional values and established systems. This generational divide manifests in disagreements over issues ranging from climate change to social justice. As differing worldviews and priorities clash, these tensions exacerbate feelings of alienation among both groups, as younger individuals feel misunderstood or dismissed, while older generations perceive their values as under threat. The result is a fragmented society where collaboration across generational lines becomes increasingly difficult. Furthermore, cultural anxiety shapes individual identity and group dynamics. Social identity theory helps explain how people respond to perceived threats to their cultural or personal identities by aligning more strongly within groups. This alignment often comes at the expense of outgroups, reinforcing polarization and reducing empathy for those with differing perspectives. Such dynamics are evident in the increasing prevalence of online echo chambers, where individuals engage primarily with like-minded communities that validate their fears and beliefs. These environments limit exposure to diverse viewpoints, deepening divides and entrenching cultural anxiety. The psychological mechanisms underpinning cultural anxiety underscore the need for holistic approaches to address its impacts. Recognizing the interplay between cognitive appraisals, emotional responses, and societal influences can help individuals and communities develop strategies to mitigate its effects. By fostering critical thinking, encouraging empathy, and promoting intergenerational dialogue, society can begin to bridge divides and transform cultural anxiety into a catalyst for growth and adaptation. While cultural anxiety poses significant challenges, it also offers opportunities for growth and adaptation. Addressing these challenges begins with fostering critical thinking and media literacy. The ability to evaluate information critically is a cornerstone of resilience, reducing susceptibility to misinformation and fear-based narratives. Education programs that emphasize media literacy empower individuals to discern fact from fiction, creating a more informed and balanced approach to navigating societal shifts. Community resilience programs also play a vital role in mitigating the impacts of cultural anxiety. Research on social support systems highlights the importance of fostering connection and collective problem solving. By engaging in community-based initiatives, such as local environmental projects or neighborhood support networks, individuals can combat feelings of isolation and helplessness. These programs not only provide practical solutions to shared challenges, but also reinforce a sense of belonging and mutual support. Mindfulness and stress reduction techniques offer another pathway to resilience. Mindfulness-based stress reduction (MBSR) programs provide tools for managing the emotional toll of rapid change. By cultivating present moment awareness, individuals can develop the clarity and calm needed to navigate uncertainty. This practice helps reduce the overwhelming nature of cultural anxiety, enabling individuals to respond to challenges with greater composure and intentionality. Adaptability emerges as a critical psychological skill in the face of cultural anxiety. Shifting from a fixed to a growth mindset, as outlined in Carol Dweck's research, allows individuals to view challenges as opportunities for learning and development. This perspective transforms fear into resilience, fostering an ability to thrive amid change. Adaptability is not only a personal asset, but also a communal one, as flexible mindsets contribute to innovative solutions and collective progress. Finally, fostering intergenerational dialogue provides a means of bridging divides and reducing tensions. Conversations between generations can illuminate differing perspectives, creating opportunities for shared understanding and collaborative solutions. These dialogues encourage empathy and mutual respect, breaking down barriers that often exacerbate cultural anxiety. By learning from one another's experiences, generations can unite in addressing the complex challenges of a rapidly evolving world. Cultural anxiety is not a new phenomenon. Rather, it is a recurring thread that has woven itself through the fabric of human history, arising each time societies confront significant and often rapid changes. By delving deeper into its historical roots and various manifestations, we can gain a clearer insight that will enable us to better navigate the myriad challenges of our contemporary era. Psychological research offers valuable tools and strategies for effectively addressing cultural anxiety, encompassing everything from cognitive behavioral approaches to frameworks that foster community resilience and solidarity. As we move forward, let us reflect on the cultural shifts that make us feel uneasy. How can we, as individuals and communities, address these tensions constructively? By embracing critical thinking, fostering connection, and cultivating adaptability, we can transform cultural anxiety into a source of strength and growth. It is only through these deliberate efforts that we can transcend the divisions and unease that so often accompany change, creating a future grounded in understanding and mutual respect. Thank you for engaging with this exploration of cultural anxiety. For further insights and discussions on the psychological aspects of our world, tune in to The Psychology of Us with Professor RJ Starr. If you enjoyed this discussion, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with others who may find it meaningful. Your support helps us reach more people and continue these vital conversations. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and thank you for being part of our journey.